Hey, hi, hello. Welcome back. If you've come back, if not, hi. My name is Becca and I like books. And today I wanted to do a book haul for everyone to show the books that I've purchased over the last 5 to 6 months. I have a collection of 26 books, 2 of which are more reference books. And the rest are fiction, fantasy, romantasy, horror, horror fantasy, if that's a genre. I think I have one sci-fi and one that I'm not sure what it is. So go ahead and get started. Like I said, I have 26, so I'm going to try and keep it brief. Just a quick overview of each book, and I apologize if you hear chirping in the background. My cats have a chirping, bouncing bird toy that's right here in my library opening because it's the only opening that I could reasonably put it in that would not be in my daily way. So, and I also apologize if you hear barking in the background. I live in a duplex and the basement neighbor has 2 small dogs and they won't stop barking for some reason. I've tried waiting, but they just genuinely are not going to stop anytime soon. Anyway, first we have What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez. Bought it because I thought it would remind me of my favorite game, Assassin's Creed Origins. I am an ancient Egypt girly. I've always been an ancient Egypt girly. I'm fascinated by it. So, book 1, that's what it is. Next is The Dreadfuls by A. Ray Dunlap. This has beautiful sprayed edges that look like lace. It's set in London 1888. It's true crime and historical fiction with a thriller in it. If there's one thing I love more than, maybe not more than, just as much as ancient Egypt, it's London. I went last year and I fell in love. And then this came into my world, into my radar, and I said, I'm gonna need that. So, Victorian thriller, we'll see. Then we have The Red Winter by Cameron Sullivan. Also has sprayed edges, just plain red, which is still stunning and beautiful. This creature here, I don't know what it is, but I love it already. It is on the end pages, and I will actually throw the book if anything happens to that creature. This one is set in 1785. Its first sentence says the terrible beast has returned, and the French countryside runs red in its wake. So if that's the terrible beast, I'm going to be very upset because I'm already emotionally attached to this creature. So, planning on reading it soon. It sounds like it's like a high fantasy, big chunker next. And surprise, the largest, floppiest paperback in this pile is Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. I am terrified of this book. I've never read a Samantha Shannon. I have quite a few of the Bone Season series, but I've always wanted to be brave and read this literal textbook. Well, I'm seeing the number 800 a lot, so that's alarming. 804. That's terrifying to me, but also I really want to know. I've heard a lot of people talk about this on the interwebs, and I'm very, very, very curious. Next is a new-ish release. I think it came out last month. The Library of Amorlin. Sprayed edges, that seems to be the thing now, which is fine. It's beautiful under. Got creatures, the bestiary on the end pages. This is about, surprise, a library. Kassira, who used to be a con artist, now she's keeping her head down working off a lengthy prison sentence. She goes undercover as the new assistant of this library. Then we have a horror book, I believe, and that is The Unworthy by Augustina Bazterrica. So it's about a sister who's in this sacred sisterhood, and she can't remember her life before, and she can't remember how she got into the sacred sisterhood, and she's wondering what it takes to actually become an enlightened woman. This is from the author of Tender is the Flesh, which I did not read, but a friend read and said it was very, it was very it. So I thought this one might be a little more my taste. So I bought it. Next is, ooh, pretty, is Rings of Fate by Melissa De La Cruz. Again, sprayed edges. I'm a sucker for sprayed edges. I said it in my other video, but I flip my books out when I've read them. So sprayed edges is just like a bonus for me for books that I've read. Although don't look at my shelves. Don't look at them. Because you'll see that not many books are turned around right now, and that's because I'm in the middle of a shelf audit. I turned everything back around except for the books that I 100% like, I know that's Dragon Cursed, so I didn't turn it around, but most everything is turned spine out, so don't judge me. Anyway, back to the book, Rings of Fate. Ooh, I don't even think I knew it had, I knew it had this. Very pretty. But it also has this. Also very pretty. This sold me with its tagline, which is, she's a barmaid who doesn't believe in fairy tales. He's a prince cursed to live in one. I don't know what that means, but I'm excited to find out. I swear these are not all special editions. It's just special editions like all in a row, because this is another one. Well, I wouldn't say special edition, sprayed edges. So next is Reign of Shadows and Endings by Melissa K. Rorick. I'm saying Rorick. Feel free to correct me. Beautiful sprayed edges. This is the first in a series that I believe was self-pubbed or indie pubbed before, that has now been picked up by a traditional publisher, by Kensington. Of all of their creations, the gods favored their children the most, but with that favor came the fear that their legacy would one day become too powerful. Next is a horror book, and that is You Should Have Been Nicer to My Mom by Vincent Tirado. This one I had pre-ordered because anyway, the author is POC and non-binary, and we love supporting that in the horror community. We need more of that in the horror community. So I don't really know what it's about. I saw Gavin Reads It All read it, and Jordan reads, and they had opposite opinions. So Gavin said it's more of like a horror drama. And then Jordan, I might be wrong, but if I remember correctly, she did not enjoy it at all, because there was not enough horror in it. So it's a short one. We'll see. Then I have something that I didn't know was gay. And there's one thing we love in this household, it's gay shit. And that is apparently Sir Cameron Needs to Die by Greer Stothers. Again, the sprayed edges. I don't know how I didn't know this was gay. I guess I'm just a dumbass and I don't read things fully before I hit purchase. All his life, Sir Cameron has stayed as far away from danger as possible. He is quite frankly too handsome to die a pointless death in battle. But then the church hands down a prophecy to his fellow knights. The only way to defeat their nemesis, the mad sorcerer Marullo, is to kill Sir Cameron. So this sounds like a fun, good gay time, and I'm here for it. Next is a trilogy, the whole trilogy. Have you finished? Have you finished? Do you have Lionel's fur in your mouth? This is Widow Man. He's just a little man. And he's a menace. But we love him anyway. We do. Okay, bye. I wish I could say that this next trilogy is the end of the sprayed edges, because I know not everybody loves them, but I hunted this one down and then I hunted the next trilogy down as well, because I adore both of these trilogies and I wanted beautiful editions for my shelves. I did a whole video on this trilogy though, so I won't spend too much time on it. And that is the Empire of the Vampire Heirloom Books trilogy. Like I said, I won't spend too much time because I did a whole unboxing video, but they're just beautiful editions. And I wanted them for my collection. I don't currently own a matching set of this trilogy. So next, remember how I said I'm an ancient Egypt girly and that 2 of these books are technically reference books? I bought the complete Gods and Goddesses of Ancient Egypt. This is literally just like boring to everybody else except me. While we're on that, oh good, this is the other reference book that I mentioned. It is quite heavy. It is quite beat up as well. It is a used, a secondhand book. I might end up just taking the dust jacket off of this, but it's literally just Ancient Egypt, an illustrated reference to the myths, religions, pyramids, and temples of the land of the pharaohs. And once again, it's just a reference book. Once again, I have 11 books left to show you, but like I said, I do have a trilogy in here, so I will try not to spend too much time talking about each book. I just love books. Next up, Girl Dinner by Olive E. Blake. That's why. again, the thought of reading this and putting it on my shelf so that I could see the hot pink edges when it was read and turned out was too good to pass up. But I don't know how I'm going to feel about this one. Mainly because it's about a sorority, and I really don't give a shit about sororities. I think Erin read this and was disappointed. Like, it's pitched as kind of like cannibalism. Yeah, I think I saw Erin read this, and that kind of like she didn't love it, and that she went in with different expectations than what the book provided. I'm still intrigued because of the dopamine I would get from turning the spine in. Then I have Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinniman, and I have started it. As you can see, I made it very far. I gave into the hype, and as you can see, I made it very far. No, it was nothing to do with the book. It was my brain, and then it became a whole thing of I read it, and I got literally 10 pages in, and I just got distracted with life and never returned to it. But I do want to read it. I have seen Gavin Reads It All devour this series, and he says that it's so funny and so good. Then we have one that I've read already, and thank God, because it was a chunk. I did read this on audiobook, but I wanted a trophy copy because I adore this cover. And this is Halloween by Duncan Ralston. I've read another Duncan book. I loved it. He killed my favorite character at the end of it though, so it's on site with Duncan. And then this popped up in my search, and it's set in the 2000s, like 2002, I think it's set, or 1999. No, you dumbass. It's set on Halloween of 2001. And there are a lot of 2001 words that are used that we used back then that we no longer use, to the point that I actually thought this was written in like 2002. Nope. This was written 2024? Yeah, 2024 this came out. And the way Duncan wrote and the way that the characters speak genuinely had me thinking that this came out in 2002-ish. So I don't know if that's good or bad, but anyway, the premise of it is 5 teens set out to make a horror film for a school project at a Halloween haunt in their small town, and all hell breaks loose, literally, and this ancient entity emerges that can control inanimate objects. And it's basically like they're fighting Halloween decorations for the whole book. Anyway, Halloween by Duncan Ralston, a good chunky horror book, and it was a good time. We have another horror book. Maybe not horror. This might be more like speculative thriller. I don't know. I'm not very good with genres. I just like what I like, and that's that. And that's Greedy by Kali Kazumi. So Egypt, London / England. My third, I guess, like gimme is Japanese. I am learning Japanese very slowly, and yes, I'm doing Duolingo, don't judge. I literally bought this because it's 1, a Japanese author, 2, it's set in Japan, and it's talks about like Japanese culture and stuff like that, but it is also a horror book. And it's basically this guy loses his job and gets a job as a private chef for this socialite in Japan, and she has very peculiar tastes. I read it. it was a good time. This next book has some discourse around it right now. And I'm not going to talk about the discourse. I'm just here to talk about the book. And I bought it before the discourse happened, and I'm still going to read it because I am curious. But that's Inamorata by Ava Reid. Like, it's stunning. It's a stunning book. Well done. Well done, publisher. Del Rey. Well done, Del Rey. I bought this because it's a gothic fantasy about necromancy, vengeance, and soul-consuming love. I've heard the discourse. I personally am not a person who really needs trigger warnings, so I'm not worried about that for me. But I guess if you do have triggers, look at the trigger warnings online. I haven't read it yet, so I don't know how to add to that, so we'll see. Then I have The Resurrectionist by A. Ray Dunlap. This is a thriller with dark academia elements, set in Edinburgh, Scotland, 1828. Apparently I'm feeling the Victorian era. Body snatchers famous for stealing fresh corpses. Life or death scheme as rival snatchers compete in a morbid race for power. I don't know what's going on in this one, but I'm very curious. Here's that trilogy I was talking about. Surprise, special editions. Little Thieves. Now, why did I have to hunt these down, you ask? Oh, because these are the, I think these are the Illumicrate editions. Anyway, I've read Little Thieves and Painted Devils, and I have the paperbacks that I read. I've been wanting to read the conclusion to the trilogy. The paperback does not come out for quite some time. I am impatient. So I said to myself, Self, you love the first two in the series. There's no way you're not going to love the third. So why don't we find some pretty editions for our shelves, our trophy copies? I found this copy on Illumicrate. I'm pretty sure it's Illumicrate. I found this copy on their website, and I was like, oh, wow, that's so pretty. Can I get books 1 and 2? No. No, you cannot. They have book 3 for sale. And these two suckers I had to hunt down and pay a stupid amount of money for. So choices were made. It's the trade cover. There are no sprayed edges, but look at the hardcovers. Look, it's Vanya. Look. And they're so pretty. They're all like this too. Painted Devils. Again, just the regular cover. Look at them. Oh, this one has a book plate in it too. It is Illumicrate, confirmed. And then Holy Terrors. This one, I'm not super happy about, but I'm not enough of an asshole to complain. I don't know if you can tell, but the edges are just a little tiny bit messed up. But I'm not vain enough to care that much. This book was like $20 on their website, which is insane to me considering what I paid for the other two. And look how pretty. I still haven't read Holy Terrors yet because I'm pissed off about how Little Devils ended. I didn't even tell you what they're about. It's about Vanya, And this is a retelling of The Goose Girl. It's about stolen lives, thorny truths, and wicked girls at the heart of both. Basically, it's about Vanya. She was a maid to this girl named Giselle, and she found a string of enchanted pearls that helped her switch places with Giselle. And then she meets Emmerich and has to fool Emmerich that she is actually Princess Giselle, not Vanya. And chaos ensues, and a little bit of romance ensues, and I just adore this series so very much, and I'm very happy to own these beautiful editions. I can't wait to properly put them on my shelves. 2 books ago, one of which I've read the audiobook, and the other I have not. So first, The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monica Kim. This is the paperback, and I just gave you a little sneak peek, but how cool are those sprayed edges? They're little eyeballs. How cool. So I had the hardback in my cart, and then I saw that the paperback had these edges, and I said, get rid of that. Oh, and it has blood dripping on the top. That's so cool. This is a girl about a Korean, an American-Korean, nope, Korean-American woman's descent into obsession with murder. Apparently she becomes a little obsessed with eyes. I think blue eyes specifically. But I can't wait to read this. This is like next. Maybe not next, but it's high up on my TBR. And last but not least is This Kingdom Will Not Kill Me by Ilona Andrews, who actually I learned is a husband and wife duo. I was very kindly, I would say gifted, but I won it, so I'm going to flaunt that a little bit. I did win a copy of the audiobook of this from Storygraph and Macmillan Audio. I did read it, listen to it, and then when the book came out, I bought the sprayed edge edition, because this is the first in a trilogy, I believe, and I am going to need to read it physically when, yeah, I listened to it, but as I was getting towards the end of it, I decided that I needed to read it physically, once again, closer to when the second book comes out, because there is a lot that happens in these 300 and some pages. Basically, this one is, oh, sorry, no, 400 and almost 500. How are they getting pages so thick these days? What? This is 470 pages? Am I just delusional? I feel like that used to be like a chunk of a book. Anyway, this is about Maggie, who is obsessed with this fantasy trilogy, and, well, trilogy, but the third book never got written. And one day she is magically transported to the world in which that book is set. And she has like all this knowledge. She knows the books by heart. She knows exactly who these people are and what is going to happen and all of this stuff. So she starts trading knowledge for money and power, and this is the first book in that series, and it leaves off on a major cliffhanger. I won't say what, but it's like a high fantasy with a drop of romance. It's a high fantasy to the point that I need to reread it because there's just so much that happens that I, towards the end, was getting like mixed up and confused, and I just feel like it would help if I sat and reread it when I was getting ready to read book 2 whenever it comes out. So that's that. And that's everything I had to show. I can't wait to put them all back on my shelves and put them in my spreadsheet, because yes, I do keep a spreadsheet of all of my books. That is it. I'm gonna wrap this up. Say bye. Say bye, everyone. He doesn't care. So yeah, that's it. I'm gonna leave it here. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.